You look so diehard right now.
I think we're live, fellas. All right. Gonna let that breathe for just a second. It's another bedtime edition of Sports Nonsense and Whiskey. Put the kids.
I'm wearing the wrong attire. I didn't realize it was bedtime edition. Need my Hefner robe on right now.
I know.
You put the wife and kids to bed, right? And here we are.
Yeah, something like that.
How you boys doing?
Doing good. It was nice to get the weekend knocked out, so it was good. Jammed out work.
I feel like I look like I feel today. I could use a 5 hour and some bumps. That's a rough day, man.
It's pretty. I didn't have to work like Andy, so it was a pretty chill day over here. I went and saw a movie and just relaxed.
What'd you see?
The unbelievable.
The unbearing weight of massive talent.
That's it. Yeah,
I've heard that's great.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. Definitely Pinky approved.
I'm a big Nick Cage fan, so I will be seeing that for sure.
It is fantastic. So definitely worth going and seeing.
I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but he does a movie where he's an arms dealer. Anyone?
Jesus Christ. Google search.
Right, please, because it's one of my favorite movies, and I am totally drawing a blank right now, but that movie is bomb with Jared Leto as his younger brother.
Lord
of War.
Lord of War. That's the one. Yeah. That movie is good.
Yes, that was a fun movie. I like that.
Well, guess what, fellas?
Draft week.
It's draft week.
What, Casey? What?
We finally made it. It's been a long time, but we got here. Sunday, draft week, time to roll. All right, fellas. So I thought since we're going to do our official mock draft Tuesday, I thought, let's not do a mock draft this time, right? So let's do a
mock draft, just not in order of the draft.
Well, we don't have to go. We could go into details about specific players if we want, but
I got you, man.
Positions that they need, right?
You know me. I got to poke the big teddy bear. That's what I'm here for.
Can't mess. Well, you can't bring me down today. I'm having a good day. Got my Topo Chico. I already had too much to drink this weekend, so I want to, tone it down.
Topo Chico.
Got to hydrate a little bit.
You better stay hydrated, man. You got a big weekend coming up, my man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Do videos in the morning before you leave the hotel room because we don't need that kind of publicity.
Oh no, we're gonna get out there. Andy's gonna say some stupid shit to a lot of different people.
That's true.
And he's really gonna have a good time.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying we don't need to, post the videos of such things that cause, possible burnbacks. That's all. Just
never.
NC-17 rating.
So
we might lose SP if that happens.
He just drops the videos.
He's like, no, we're done.
So I did set up a little bit of a slideshow, help make it easy for us, team by team, basically division by division. All right. So I'm going to start that up, and we'll just start going and talking about it.
Oh, look at this guy putting in the extra effort. I love it.
I mean, it's not great, but I did it in 40 minutes. So, it is what it is.
Magic. That's what I call it. Magic.
So we've whoever they have to draft to make Christian McCaffrey happy. What is that? Oh. That's the team's top need.
That they should be.
I think the fear, for me at least, is a lot of teams are going to go the Bengals route and draft their Jamar Chases.
Oh.
And that's going to maybe hit twice and fail the other 30 times. So, I mean, let's be honest. If Carolina was serious about trying to build a winner, they would go O-line, right? I mean, Darnold played pretty good to start the year last year, had some injuries, their skill players fell off. Their O-line is terrible. If they go and draft like a Malik Willis, like there's a lot of rumors of, I don't see it working out well for that pick for Malik Willis, just for the simple fact that there's nothing to protect him at that point.
Yeah, for Malik Willis, that'd be a horrible pick because it's your successful play as a handoff. Anything after that, you hope DJ Moore's not covered. Oh, wait, he's the one guy they are going to cover.
Well, and even Christian McCaffrey's got to be sitting there going, please, God, give me something that opens up at least a little bit of a hole.
He's hoping to get injured again so he can just get traded. He's like, Jesus,
God.
just get me hurt. Just let me out. Like, yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he got traded on draft night. I just would not be. It's who's going to ante up. I think he's worth a first. So who's going to ante up a first round pick for somebody who, you know, hasn't been able to stay on the field the last couple of years? But dude, imagine him in Buffalo. Imagine him in Buffalo.
Jesus.
You could easily get 4 to 5 more years out of McCaffrey if you don't run him into the ground like Carolina was.
What if he went to the Rams? They're taking every older player like that. That would be insane.
What is McCaffrey? He's like 25, turning 26 this year, right?
That's amazing. He's still there.
Maybe.
So, I mean, I feel like
Too much.
I'd give up
too much money
give
on
him
that
a first.
contract. He's not getting they're not getting a first for him. Too much money on that contract.
If I'm Buffalo, I'd give up a first for him.
Well, so discussing the Panthers' needs, they do need draft picks. So if they have any valuable assets they might want to get rid of, maybe not a bad idea. They only have one pick in the first 4 rounds.
Why is that, Pinky?
They traded for Sam Darnold.
So it sounds like, you know, maybe they should do something smart with that first round pick.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, their biggest needs are offensive tackle, quarterback, and wide receiver are probably their 3 biggest needs. And I would say offensive tackle is like the big one. That's where I would go.
And with Bryce Young coming out next year too, them playing at the bottom, I mean, they won't even have to try for that. And I checked, CMC is 25.
They're going to have some competition.
Dude, that's you don't run him into the ground. That's 5 years worth of CMC, I would say. So, and then after that, he can move to slot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Based on everything he's done,
I mean,
he's
he
not
can move
done
to
after
slot
30.
now. You can
Imagine
make sure
with-
the slot and then, you know, rush him 10 times a game, maybe.
The next
I just-
Wes Welker, oh, those type play. Oh my God, man. Edelman. Oh, geez, with his skill set, how he moves after the ball.
Let's think about this seriously. If you're Carolina, would you say no if somebody offered you a first for CMC?
I think they would take it.
You would. I would. I mean,
I just don't
you're
think they
not-
would get it. I don't think anybody's going to offer a first, but
Man,
But
I
what
would
about-
in a heartbeat.
Man, imagine a team like the Patriots. Somebody that would start doing all those random things. They've got a lot of rookie running backs.
Yeah, they got too many running backs already. They got White still that they just re-signed.
let's not send
Stevenson.
anybody to New England. Andy.
Nah,
Suck
nah,
that
nah,
talk.
nah. But I mean, if you're the Jets and you're trying to build something, why wouldn't you send one of your first to Carolina? And then Carolina now has 2 firsts instead of 1. Then they could start doing some things. Then a Malik Willis and an offensive lineman could come into play. But where it stands right now, they got to go offensive line, in my opinion. But I said that again last year with the Bengals, and that blew up in my face really bad. So, you know.
There's no Jamar Chase for them to take at this point. So I agree with you, Caleb. Cheers. All right, moving on.
Everything. That's all I see. Dude, some guy today, I had to stop because I almost started to do a back and forth on our Facebook, but I basically said Michael Thomas is done now that Drew Brees isn't around. And this guy went on to tell me that Michael Thomas attacks the ball at the top, at the point of attack. And I was like, no, I've never seen him do that. He said Michael Thomas is a phenomenal route runner. I said, no, I've never seen that either.
Yeah, he's just a big guy that knows how to use his catch radius.
And he also said Michael Thomas is going to dominate this year with Jameis Winston. And I was just like, apparently we're watching 2 different games, so I'm not really sure what
that
to
dude
say.
hasn't played in 2 years.
I know.
I don't doubt that he could have a good season, but we have no idea.
I
He's the
said
one-
he'd be lucky to be top 30 this year.
I mean, if he plays with his heart. Jameis throws the ball. He could be top 30.
Michael Thomas isn't a deep ball threat, right? Not a deep ball threat.
He's not. That's true.
And when you think about the wide receivers throughout the NFL right now, I would be hard pressed to see him get into the top 30. So when you're looking at New Orleans, I'm still waiting to hear what happens with Kamara, because once that video gets released, I don't think he's playing it down in the NFL again. I mean, honestly. So they have Jameis, Taysom Hill, Cam Hayward, and nothing. Like, am I wrong? Am I missing something?
I mean, they've got a good overall team, which I'm guessing is why they traded like their draft picks for next year to get an extra pick this year. I mean, they sit at 16, 19, and 49. And, you know, they do need a right tackle. They do need a wide receiver. Even if Thomas is healthy and good to go, they still need a wide receiver. And they'll need some defensive line help as well, because their defensive line, I think they're free agents next year. So they're going to have to put in some work.
Yeah. I go ahead, Andy.
I was looking up the wide receivers they have on roster, but they've got Callaway, Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, and then Kevin White. Oh my God, I forgot he was still in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They're like, hey, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We have Tom Brady in the back. Oh wait, no, who's catching the ball and who's throwing it? Like, they got a decent O-line, I guess. I mean, you could say they got a decent O-line. Not, I'd say middle of the road, maybe.
Yeah, they lost that guy to the Dolphins, right?
Teron Armstead, yeah.
So now they've got holes. Yeah, it says wide receiver, quarterback, and offensive lineman. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think they're going a quarterback. I think they're going to ride Crab Daddy.
Oh, they're definitely rolling with Jameis. And I mean, honestly, he didn't play bad until he tore his ACL. His stats, I know his numbers are a little inflated because of that first game that he had with 5 touchdowns, but still, he didn't play bad. He had a good passer rating. He was more accurate than we'd ever seen Jameis. So I don't think Jameis is the issue. You just don't have anything around him.
Yeah, that's where they need that wide receiver. So at 16, I could see them grabbing a wide receiver for sure.
God, there could be.
That's a good range.
Such a run on offensive linemen in this draft in the first round too.
There should be.
Are going to get desperate when guys start falling off the board and like 6 of the top 10 are gone? There's going to be some crazy movement.
This bottom half of the draft is going to be real interesting when some of those runs start, because the wide receiver run and the O-line run is going to happen real early, I think, top 15 picks or so.
And then the corner run is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to go
or the corners will drop because of this.
Well, Sauce Gardner and Stingley will go off the board.
Yeah,
top 15, top 20, probably somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know if corners will run, though, after those two go off the board. That would kind of surprise me a little bit.
I think in the back part of the first round is where you'll see a run, because the O-line will get destroyed, the wide receivers will get thin, and then people are like, well, the top 2 corners are gone, but there's still a group of good corners that they can take.
Yeah,
but that'll be in the 20s.
I could see that. But yeah, New Orleans, I don't think they can go wrong with their 2 picks. They need help everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that far where they need it everywhere. I just think they have like positions that they could need some help. They did beat the Bucks twice last season. So
and they missed the playoffs, right?
They were right there.
Did they miss the playoffs?
They did. Philly overtook them.
I mean, the Broncos were right there too up until, week 16. So let's not go there.
Oh man.
What's the next team? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I stand corrected. The Saints need some things. Atlanta needs everything.
I don't think the Falcons can go wrong at all. Just draft a player and it's good.
Yeah, they have so many holes. They've got
They've got Cordero Patterson, right? They're fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, yeah, that's top running back right there.
Yikes.
fantasy sleeper, guys.
Last year, I don't think he's going to come out gangbusters this year.
So we're on the same page here, Caleb. I had in my notes that they need everything. At 8, they have 8 and 43 are their top 2 picks. They really need a wide receiver. If they took the first wide receiver off the board, I think that'd be a good idea, in my opinion.
I guess it depends on if a wide receiver goes before them or not. I mean, honestly, their defense has been so atrocious for so long that it wouldn't surprise me at all if they went D-line or D-end.
Yeah.
I mean, they need it. I mean, they could go corner. They can grab the first corner, the first wide receiver. They can grab a D-end if anybody slips. Thibodeau, whoever. But yeah, they need somebody.
I stopped playing football in like 7th grade, okay? So I'm not going to claim that I'm like some aficionado when it comes to how to build a team. But I am going to say I'm an aficionado when coming to build a team. And the teams that don't decide to build in the trenches inside out blow my mind every single time.
Yeah.
Like you go look at the best teams in the league and they are solid in the trenches. Like stacked. I mean, look what the Rams did last year. So, yes, they have Jalen Ramsey on the backside, but if you don't have Aaron Donald, guess what happens in the Super Bowl? Jalen Ramsey gets smoked, and that touchdown happens. So, I just O-line and D-line better be stacked if you want to win in this league. That's the way I've always seen it, and that hasn't changed.
I think the Falcons should grab the best wide receiver, the one that they like. I think a lot of guys, Drake London's the top guy, Garrett Wilson. Some people like Olave, like whatever your flavor is, grab that top guy.
I am still not seeing this Drake London as one of the top 3 or 4 guys. Like I just seeing the games last year and seeing his film, maybe I'm missing some, but nothing like just pops off to me where it's like, oh my God, grab that guy now. Like it's not, but whatever.
I think it's the physicals are too tempting. I think when everybody sees the
6'4",
speed,
240. Yeah.
I think that's it. But sorry, as you're saying, Pink.
Oh, and he's got the speed to go along with it. So.
But you're right. His tape, if you watch his highlight reel, you're like, okay.
Yeah,
like, his best plays, like the limited best of the best, and you're like, okay, he caught the ball, he's wide open. Okay, that play he catches it, no one's there. Like it's hard because just like you stated, you're not seeing that where he breaks off a run and like fakes out 10 guys or stiff arms everybody. You're just seeing like, okay, he's making open catches and he catches pretty well on the sideline.
I think a Mike Evans comp would be a little generous there, Cody. I know some people are throwing that out there, but I just I'm not seeing it. I just don't I don't see an explosive player to my eyes. I think he's gonna be good, just not great. And when you watch the film of, Jameson and Olave and Garrett and Treylon Burks. Damn, David Bell is falling off boards because he had a bad combine. And I go watch David Bell's tape compared to Drake London's, and I would take Bell in a heartbeat over London. That's just me, but who knows?
I went back and watched Bell's tape. You're right. His cuts are just so fluid. He is just in and out. And that's where, a guy like Drake London, let's say he falls to the Packers. Yeah, he'd be phenomenal because he's going to get one-on-one coverage and Aaron's going to put the ball where it needs to be. But if you're trying to do that, like, oh, we'll put him with a young quarterback and see it. Oh, man, that would not be. That'd be rough. Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's back.
I mean, honestly, Brady's gone after this year, in my opinion. He's not coming back to the Bucs.
So he did restructure his contract, and he will be a free agent after this season.
I think, honestly, when you think about it that way, they either need an impact, somebody who's going to step in right away and be able to fill a hole and start, or they need to start planning for the future because they're going to need everything after this year. There's a lot of one-year contracts. There's a couple where there's team outs after year one. And they're old. Like the team is getting way old when you start talking about as a whole on NFL terms. So I don't really have an answer for where Tampa's going. I mean, 27th, you could reach slightly at somebody to fill a hole.
They have 27 and 60 are their top 2 picks, and I think they need a wide receiver to help with giving Godwin time to get back and healthy.
Why are you so down on Gage? Like, I don't understand why everybody's so down on Gage.
He's a guy.
Dude, not with Brady, he's not going to be. He was a guy last year because nobody could throw him the ball.
They still need a guard.
Yeah, that's where I would see. That's what I'm saying. You get somebody who can plug and play right away.
They do need a defensive lineman right now because Pierre-Paul and Sue are not on the roster right now.
I'm still surprised Sue hasn't signed with them yet.
I think that's mutual. Nobody was offering big money to him, so wait till after the draft, teams come in, or he can wait till training camp and show up halfway through training camp.
I mean, he's not what he used to be, but the dude still demands double teams and clogs holes in the middle. So
him and Vea are solid.
Yeah, dude.
Solid. One of the top rush defenses in the league with those 2 guys in the middle.
Definitely.
I don't think the Bucs can go wrong. I don't think they have a lot of glaring needs. They have a couple that, would
I think
help.
they could go wrong. I mean, they took Darden last year, and that sure didn't shine too bright.
I thought they took that pass rusher.
Oh, Tyron, Joe
Tyron.
Yeah, there you go.
From Washington.
Well, I don't mean in the first round. I just mean they took Darden in like round 2, round 3, somewhere in there. And that dude's the next Tavon Austin.
Yeah. I do like the Bucs, though. I think they're going to be good this year. I think they're going to win the South again.
Well, yeah, they're going to be in the NFC Championship game the way it stands right now. Unless the Packers magically see 2 guys drop and they actually go wide receiver.
Oh, mentioning the Packers. What a great segue, Caleb. You're good at this.
That's
why we bring you on this show. Let's see, where's Green Bay at? Green Bay's actually got 22, 28, and 53.
If I'm Green Bay, I'm going wide receiver, depending on who's left on the board, or I'm going wide receiver O-line, depending on who's left on the board. If both of those options are gone, then I'm trying D-line.
You would double up at wide receiver?
Depending on who's left. Yeah. I mean, if Olave falls, I still think David Bell is not a reach at that. They don't have anybody right now who can be a game breaker. And for some reason, people are down on Olave. I don't know if it's just because Garrett Wilson flashes such crazy athleticism. But
I like Olave a lot.
Dude, I watched a lot of that. Dude is so smooth in and out of breaks. His route running is meticulous, and then he can burn you afterwards. I just don't know if somebody's going to fall to him in those positions. But let's say Treylon Burks and Olave are there. I'd snatch both of them and run.
Oh, wow.
That'd be awesome.
And the nice thing about the Packers, too, is they can take guys who would be good, and with Aaron Rodgers will be great.
Exactly.
And that's where a lot of wide receivers, they get into a scheme and the ball's not in the right place. Lamar Jackson's throwing it all over the place. They're running for their lives. But could you imagine if, like, Hollywood was with the Packers, what Aaron Rodgers would be doing, hitting him? I mean, it'd be insane. So there's a lot of stuff that they could do. So I think wide receiver double up would be great. Just because this year, too, there's no tight end that's an amazing offensive weapon.
True.
So there's no one for them to really
McBride is pretty nasty, dude.
Oh,
I don't know if he's quite first round in these situations, depending on who falls, but they also have Tanyan coming back, and Degura isn't bad. He showed up at the end of the season actually and looked pretty decent.
I think Tanyan's still a free agent, man.
Oh, man.
I feel like he's coming back to the Packers. It's just a matter of the physicals checking.
Yeah. But Jelani Woods, if he turns out to be anything special, has, again, we're talking about the physicals and made some plays.
Jelani Woods is the one tight end that's got like 6'6" and the speed.
Yep.
But he only played a short time.
Correct.
At tight end. I think he played one season at tight end.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Devontae Adams, when he was picked, everybody was like, why would you do that? Oh, my God. And then him and Rodgers turned into a super tandem duo. So, you can take a little bit of a reach here on somebody that's got crazy skills if you think they can be coached up. If you speak with them and you hear them talk and say, I know these are the things I need to work on. If they're self-aware, I would reach a little bit for that person because they get to play with Aaron Rodgers for at least a year.
Yeah, I think wide receivers their top need with offensive line and D line as their secondary needs.
Now, if I had to bet, I would say the Packers don't take a wide receiver in the first round.
I believe you can bet that in Colorado, actually. We're the only state that you can bet that.
I'm going to be looking into that then because that's how they should, but I don't think they will.
They're still sticking it to Aaron Rodgers.
Dude.
We're going to give you $50 million, but nobody to throw the ball to. Have fun.
I don't know what they're sure as hell not planning for the future. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, Andy, your second favorite team for some reason.
I loved Barry Sanders as a kid, man. I loved watching Barry. That was it. So, I mean, it was just one of those when you watch him run, and then I loved after the games, everybody's like, Barry, you're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing. And he's always so humble. That was a great defense. He made everybody look like fools, but he'd always be like, they were great. They did a really good job today. I mean, just a class act. I mean, he literally wrote the book of how to be a pro.
How anybody says Emmitt Smith is better than him blows my mind.
Well, they weren't watching football then.
I lost respect for Emmitt just when he started to become an announcer. You remember when they tried that for a while when Emmitt was on TV and he kept saying all the wrong things? Well, I mean, he's inbounds, but he's out.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. He saw his teammate Michael Irvin be able to do it, and he's like, oh, shit, if Irvin can do it, I'll be fine.
It was
Irvin's
so
got
awesome.
flair, though.
Yeah. That made me laugh so hard, but I lost a lot of respect when I realized he doesn't know the rules after how long he played. He still doesn't know the rules.
So Detroit's got pick 2, 32, and 34.
Yeah.
So they've got quite a bit to help improve that team, and I think it's fair to say they could use everything.
I still think if they hold on to the 32nd pick, they're taking a quarterback for that 5th-year option.
Yep. And that's where I could see, like you were mentioning, Ritter. I went in and looked at him. He's a blue collar guy. I mean, he fits the Dan Campbell scheme. He is hardworking. He's physically gifted. He's good, but his work ethic puts him at the top.
He's a winner.
Yeah, he is. But that was what was insane. He fits that. So he doesn't want some flashy quarterback that has all the skills but none of the heart. He's a captain. Day one, walks in, wins the locker room, and will try to lead those guys as best he can.
I don't think they need wide receiver. I don't think they need tight end. I don't think they need running back.
They need wide receiver.
No, they don't, dude. Amon St. Brown and DJ Shark, they're fine. Shark is crazy underrated. I don't know why
like a one-year deal. Like they need a wide receiver.
Yeah, but a one-year deal is a prove-it deal because he's coming off of a torn ACL.
You can never have enough wide receivers.
You can when you have holes everywhere else, dude. Their O-line was light at best, and their defense was very hit and miss all season. They need impact players, and I don't think spending on a wide receiver it's just you get into the second round and somebody falls, you could look at
obviously
it.
You're not taking one at 2. I mean, you're not going to take a wide receiver at 2.
No, that better be offensive line.
So I think they're going D, man. They're gonna get a pass rusher. They've got nothing on that defense, man.
Yeah. They brought Garrett David back.
I do think, I mean, you draft an O-lineman as well. I'm a fan of that. You know me. I like the big uglies. Yeah. But I think they're going to get a pass rusher. They have nothing on defense.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad if, we've talked to – dude, I am amazed at all these mocks that see Kalefkis. Am I saying that right, Andy? Why do I always say his name wrong?
George Karlaftis.
Karlaftis, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how many mocks I've seen that don't even have him until the middle of the second round.
That'd be great for the Chiefs.
He's going bottom. He's going bottom first.
I have a feeling the Jags are going to do a Jag thing, and I know we'll get there later. But I think Hutchinson and Thibodeau will both be there at 2. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I think
Hutchinson's the guy. If he's there at 2, he's the guy. Stamp it right now.
He's good. I just don't know if he'll ever be great. And you need a great at 2. And that's the kicker. I think Hutchinson would be really good for a long, 10 to 12-year career. Really good, couple Pro Bowls here and there. I don't know if he's that impact player when he's getting double teamed at the next level.
He's Bosa light, in my opinion. I think he's not as good as Bosa. He's like Bosa.
We talked about
right.
it. He's got a crazy motor, and that come third, fourth quarter as a pass rusher, that's going to allow him to do some things. I don't see him being a game changer on his own. So unless they want to load up on the defense in the first round to put pieces around him, I don't think that's the right fit for the Lions.
Yeah. I think they'll probably go with him just because he, like we talked about, he has that Dan Campbell attitude, blue collar, hardworking.
Absolutely.
But he's right. In a 4-3 scheme, the pass rush comes from the tackles in the ends. And, man, it's going to be tough because they still have Okawara, Romeo, and Julian. But they haven't got out of those guys what they were hoping.
No,
I mean,
definitely
they were supposed
not.
to be very, very talented guys in college. And then in the pros, it never translated.
They've got nothing out of Okuda on that defense.
Well, he was out last year. And then because he got hurt, but you're right. Okuda hasn't done much. They have so many holes. This
is the Lions we're talking about, though. 3 wide receivers in the first round, 3 years in a row. Like, how'd that work out for them?
Well, the third time they got it right.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No, I'm talking back in the day, man, when they went Roy Williams.
Oh, Jesus, Roy Williams.
Who were the other two? I'm drawing blanks. Rogers. Can't remember his first name. Rogers, Williams, and somebody else. I think it was Rogers, and Williams. Failed miserably. I mean, they finally got it right with Calvin Johnson, but that was like 4 or 5 years after that fact. So they just have a tendency to just not make the right pick.
At 32 or 34, they take a wide receiver. I think that'd be all right, but not at 2. Definitely not at 2.
No, definitely not at 2. No. I mean, the DN, Hutchinson, I don't think is a bad pick. I think he would be a solid player for 10 to 12 years. Hey, Atlanta, hold my beer.
Chicago's really bad.
They didn't even try in the offseason. They tried less than Dallas tried.
Even with this new coach, I just don't know. I don't know.
I think the coach. I think he's a great coach. The problem is he's going to get the Denver Bronco coach treatment. We're not going to give you any pieces to work with, and we need you to go out there and win a bunch of games.
Well, the defense will probably be solid, but they'll be on the field a lot, and then they'll have breakdowns, and that's kind of what happens. If the offense isn't able to pick them up, and poor Justin Fields, like he's not going to get the support he needs to be great.
Justin Fields is screwed. I had such high hopes for that guy, and I honestly said last year when Chicago drafted, you finally got your franchise QB, you're set. I just didn't think they'd decide not to try and help him in any shape, way, or form.
So they come in with 39 and 48 are where they're drafting.
I mean, there's going to be a wide receiver available there. It's just which one, and will they pick it right? They need somebody next to Mooney at a minimum.
They definitely need a wide receiver somewhere, but they also need someone to actually block for Fields so he can throw the ball.
Absolutely, they
hard
do.
To throw that ball on your back.
You can scheme out of that a little bit. I mean, Nagy didn't do anybody any favors last year with the way he was calling plays. So you can scheme out of that a little bit when you have an athletic quarterback like Fields who can move a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you, Pinky. I mean, if an O-line is sitting there available, you have to take that over the wide receiver at this point. But
that's an ugly spot to be in to draft for immediate impact need. I mean, that's because wide receiver, there will be talented guys. We see it every year. Somebody in the third, fourth.
Yeah, they would have been. I think they would have been number 7 this year had they not traded that first round pick.
Ouch.
Had to do it though. Had to do it. Tried to save Nagy's job. It didn't work, but they tried. I'm almost sad talking about the Bears.
I know that's the Bears fans like just calling the mulligan for this year. He's just like, all right, we'll check back next year.
Vikings,
absolutely ridiculous.
I find the Vikings is an interesting team this year. New coach, new staff, new philosophy. They've
That
got.
defense cost them last year on a number of occasions. They need to go D.
I thought Kirk Cousins actually had a pretty darn good season.
He
Actually,
always has a pretty gosh darn good season. You like that? You like that?
I do like it. They've got pick 12 and 46. I see secondary, D line, and wide receiver as their top three needs, in my opinion.
Secondary for sure. This is the Kyle Hamilton spot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that for sure.
If he's
Daxton
still
Hill. Yeah.
11 or 12, too high for Daxton, but 11 or 12, Kyle. If Washington doesn't take him, then the Vikings would probably jump on it. Or
I
should
could see Gardner or Stingley going here too.
if they're available. I don't know if they would make. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen here?
Yeah. If they make the run lineman like we're thinking in wide receivers and teams start freaking out and trading up, you've totally changed the board of who needs what and when it's going to go. I mean, it'll be fun. That's always the most fun about it. Remember when Christian Ponder and all those quarterbacks started falling off the board and it like screwed and all this talent's just falling down the line. And oh man, it was insane.
It's amazing how one little pick changes everybody's philosophies, regardless of what they were planning on doing. It's like, why? What are you are psycho.
I do think the Vikings are going to have a pretty good year this year, but they will need some defensive help to kind of help keep their offense off. Get their offense.
Their
should be on
offense
the
is
field.
loaded, dude. Their offense is.
I do think they need an
loaded.
extra wide receiver to help. Thielen's getting up there.
He's still a beast. You don't have to replace him this year. You don't have to reach for that.
It's not bad to have another playmaker, and that way when he's either injured, because he's been injured the last 2 years, or it's time for him to go, you've got the replacement already.
Pink, I know you're down on him, but I'm telling you, Irv Smith is going to have a big year.
I'm not down on him. I just haven't seen anything from him.
He's going to have a big year, man. People are going to have to cover Jefferson. They're going to have to cover Thielen. They're going to have to respect that run game. Irv's going to eat, and that's going to be a huge weapon for them.
We'll see. We haven't seen it yet. We'll see.
And that would give them that over-the-top offense, too, if they got a good wide receiver. Then they would really be kind of – I mean, that's – God, they could draft a guy like we talked about that has amazing physicals because he's going to be open.
Done with you, Vikings. Done with you. Philly's next. Philly's in a great spot. They've got 15, 18, and 51.
I'm actually surprised on your list you don't have O-line for them. They struggled. Yeah. They've got some talent, but they struggled last year at that O-line. And you give more protection to Hurts. I think you continue to build that offense around Hurts, and you could be. They've got outside weapons already.
They could definitely use an extra guard or tackle. I absolutely could agree with that. I do think I think Rager's never going to be a thing, so I think they need a wide receiver to help replace him. And 15, 18, 51, just make sure you get one at some point.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree that they could use a wide receiver, but I think with that, now again, they could go running back here in the second round too, depending on if somebody falls, because Sanders can't seem to stay healthy. But when he's healthy, he's a beast. Goddard's a beast. I do think Devontae Smith is going to be really good. It's just a matter of Jalen Hurts getting comfortable enough to throw the ball when he needs to.
Throw him open.
So, or maybe Devontae Smith just needed some time to get used to the improvisation that he wasn't used to when he played with Tua and Mac Jones, So we'll see how he develops. But I could see them going O-line if somebody slips here.
I mean, they've got 15 and 18, so you grab an O-line and either pick. That's fine. Give Hurts more time to throw the ball, be able to run the ball a little bit better. Nothing wrong with that.
This will be one of the interesting ones because I think this is where I think you're going to see a huge mix-up here with one of their picks.
I mean, if people forget, Philly made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
They turned it on at the end of the season. They did pick on the NFC least a little bit, but that's all. You can only beat who's in front of you. I think our favorite's coming up next. Yeah, there we go. Oh,
They gotta go defense or O line. Like I don't know how you avoid that. And O line's
the
probably their most need right now with the way guys are starting to fall off.
yeah, I've got O line as their top O line, wide receiver, and D line. Um, they're getting mocked the Iowa center Tyler Lindenbaum
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, that's a big need for them right now.
Which again, if when they can run the football effectively with Zeke or Pollard, that just makes Dak more. It just gives him more protection, and that's really helps him. And once he gets in his groove, I mean, the guy can play lights out when he's in a groove.
They've definitely
It's-
got playmakers around him.
It opens up the playbook. If they can get back to ground and pound when they need to, I mean, it's a completely different game when Zeke's a top 5 running back again. That changes everything. But right now he's been up and down.
I don't know if we're gonna get that again though.
I think
Solid.
Zeke's got 2 more, if healthy. That's going to be the kicker. If healthy, though, I think Zeke's got at least 2 more years of top 5 running back potential. I mean, dude, last year he was like number 5 or 6 in fantasy.
Yeah.
And everybody talked about what a down year he had and how trash he was. He was still 5 or 6 in fantasy.
He was just consistent. He did not have a lot of those big games, but he was typically giving you 15 to 20 points in fantasy, which is all you need sometimes. Anything else on the Cow? I guess no, we're not as happy about the Cowboys.
Defense. Defense or O-line. Their defense overachieved last year, and all these Dallas fans, SP included, man, talking about how that defense is amazing now.
I mean, they did their whole draft on defense last year. I think
and they could do it again
on offense.
They could do it again. They lost Randy Gregory. Their secondary is not good. I don't care what anybody says. Trayvon Diggs, I just saw a stat the other day, is the only cornerback in the last, I can't remember how many years, to give up 1,000 yards. And he's not going to get all those interceptions again. He's not a Deion Sanders.
He literally led the league in interceptions with like 12, I think, something crazy, but also led the league in passing yards against him. Yeah. And that is not a good combination.
So, yeah, they got DeMarcus Lawrence still, and hopefully he'll be healthy for a full year. Yes, they got Micah Parsons. Yes, they have Trayvon Diggs. If you can put another solid corner on the other side of him that can lock people down, which allows you to roll coverage more towards Diggs' side so that he can do what he does best and try to jump routes and go ball hawk, that could work out really well for him.
All right. The big blue New York Giants.
I'm actually really excited to see the Giants this year. I'm really excited to see what Dabble can do.
They pretty much need everything, which is good because they do have picks 5, 7, and 36 to start with.
I mean, they've got Galladay is not trash. I don't think he's a number 1, but he's not trash. Slayton is really good. Barkley, and I think Daniel Jones is better than people give him credit for, but when you don't have an O-line blocking for you at all and you don't have a coach that knows how to call plays, you're gonna look terrible. See Matt Nagy. But I'm excited to see what Dabble can do for this offense, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go O-line or defense. I mean, they got those 2 early picks, so if they keep them, I don't think they will. But if they keep them and they go O-line and D-line or DN or something like that, or inside linebackers type.
Word is pick 5 is up for grabs because it's right ahead of Carolina, and people think Carolina might be in for a quarterback or possibly one of the tackles. So if you want to get ahead of Carolina, you got to come to the Giants. I think if they trade either one of them and get a couple more picks, like that's fine.
I mean, you move back in the first round and pick up like a 2nd and 3rd. That'd be solid.
Oh, for sure. And O-line is definitely – Andrew Thomas actually had a pretty good season compared to his rookie year. They do need another wide receiver. They do need O-line, D-line. It sounds like they might get rid of Bradbury as well. So sounds like they're going to trade Kadarius Toney as well. If they
that'd be a mistake. I totally forgot that they even had him. That dude flashed some crazy stuff last year when he was on the field, and they got him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he would make sense in if a guy like DeBall could use him right. He'd be a great playmaker to have. So probably get traded to the Chiefs or something stupid.
That would be ridiculous.
I take it.
Here's another really interesting team. Talk about a defense that underachieved.
Bad.
There's just so much talent on this team. I don't understand how they don't win more often.
Yeah.
Quarterback is an issue. It'll be interesting to see how Carson Wentz plays this year compared to what Heineke did for him last year.
I mean, I thought Heineke was solid, but they just that defense never helped.
No, never helped at all. But I mean, how many playmakers do they have on both sides of the ball? It's crazy. You got McLaren, you got Gibson, you got Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas wasn't healthy most of the year.
He's got some injury issues. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, still on the field, if they're all on the field, they've got talent. All the Sweat and
the D line's insane.
And Chase Young, and it's just.
And
I could see them grabbing what's their pick?
11. They've got 11 and 47.
Keep an eye on one of those corners here.
Yeah.
Gardner or Stingley. I think this is where one of them goes.
Or Hamilton.
I could see them.
They really need a safety too.
I could see that.
Their whole secondary is not really good.
Somewhere on that back end, I could definitely see that's where they go with their first pick for sure.
It's their first pick.
So they pick in the fourth round.
The fourth.
And they need their biggest two needs are they need an offensive tackle because Andrew Whitworth retired.
That's a big loss for them.
Huge loss because Whitworth was so solid that you didn't have to worry about him.
Well, and he's a locker room dude too. You know, that's a team leader. That's an old head. So it's going to be interesting to see how they replace that.
And then they have they do have a need at edge because they did lose Von Miller. They couldn't match the deal he got from Buffalo. So that's their biggest two needs. And I mean, I think they have 4 or 5 picks overall. So who knows if they'll trade those for players or if they'll actually draft some guys. We won't see them until day 3.
That's crazy. And there'll be some edge talent there, but a starter at offensive line, left tackle.
You're only going to get projects in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Good projects, but
hey, that's just not true. It's just simply not true. It's just, do you have enough of your scout team that knows what the hell they're doing to grab the right guy? I mean, look at Elijah Mitchell last year for San Francisco was a 6th round or undrafted, one of the two.
Oh yeah.
That happens a lot more with running backs than offensive tackles.
I'm just saying. Now, offensive line, you're probably not going to find that, but you can still find quality starters at those rounds if you're looking for the right people.
I have no doubt that they can find a starter, but like day one comes in and is going to be really good or close to Andrew Whitworth because that's what you lost. That they're not going to find that.
Yeah.
No, but again, you don't necessarily have to find somebody to replace Whitworth. You need to find somebody who can start. And then if you see the potential to build, I mean, Andrew Whitworth wasn't like a giant coming out of college. You know what I mean? He wasn't some superb talent. He was good, but he wasn't like a surefire hit kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think their front office has a lot better handle on what things need to happen than 29 other teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
F them picks, right?
Hey, get that ring, baby.
F them picks. As long as you get the ring, that's all that matters. Here's another team that I think will be in the Turd Bowl with, the Falcons, the Texans.
I'll hold my beer. We need everything kind of team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They've drafted
DK
so
stays on the
poorly.
team?
What's that?
You think DK stays on the team?
I think so. I do.
Because if Seattle's smart, they're trading him.
Yeah. because they're completely rebuilding. I mean, they have to start everything. They need a complete
Keep chatting,
O-line.
guys. I got to plug the charger in.
Okay. But I was going to say they need a complete O-line to make whatever quarterback they get good. And to build a complete O-line in one draft, that's not happening.
No,
and
absolutely not.
Even if you get a good O-line, that means you have no quarterback picks. So, yeah, there's a lot of good. But just like you stated, that's where a lot of these teams, I feel the same as you. When you look at them, there's so many, you've just got to start fresh. But that flash to bang is so tempting. I think head coaches just lie to owners all day long because they're like, oh, man, if I get this and I'll turn this, we'll be in the playoffs again. It's the wrong mentality, like we talked about, like when they were giving you junk about losing games on purpose. I don't know if you'd ever lose a game on purpose, but the point of the idea is there's times where wins aren't going to do you any favors.
Absolutely.
And that's just like the Lions last year. They scrapped and scraped and got better as a team. That's awesome. But a win's not what they needed. They needed just to go ahead and develop, which they were doing. So and I don't think Pete Carroll's that coach.
No, he's done. He's done.
I think Pete's done. I think they got rid of the wrong guy here.
Yeah.
But
I think he had to get rid of Russ too. Because like Andy and I were just saying, they need everything. Like that team has been so poorly built since Legion of Boom ended that they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like I have to grab the battery too because for some reason my computer's about to die. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
I was at 94%, and then
yeah, I'm now at 10 somehow.
So Seattle's got 9, 40, and 41. So at least they've got a couple picks.
They've got picks, yeah.
Try to make something happen.
But that's what
they're going to be in they're going to be there for the top. They're going to be in the top 5 next year, I think, because they're going to suck.
So then again, would they be? And that's what we're just talking about is what do they go for? Because you have to build an O-line to make your quarterback useful. Because if you have a great quarterback and a horrible O-line, you're not going to go anywhere.
O-line, edge, and secondary probably is kind of what they need. They really need everything. The only thing that they don't need at this exact moment is wide receiver.
Yeah.
If they have locked it in Metcalf.
Yep.
Other than that, they need it all.
Yeah. They could go O-line. I mean, just stack it.
They wouldn't hurt. Their O-line's been bad for years. 49ers.
See what they get for Debo.
They don't pick till 61.
I think whoever they trade Debo to is going to have to give picks.
Well, they're saying Debo to the Jets. The Jets are willing to give up the 10th pick for him.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens. That's going to be a pretty big trade.
Whoever goes for Debo, correct.
He's not getting traded.
Oh, you think he's staying?
49ers aren't going to trade him.
Ooh.
They really don't have to. He's got 2 years left on his. I think he's got it. Well, no, he's got 1 year left on his contract. There's really no pressure to trade him. They don't really have to.
They're not going to trade Jimmy G for a second. They sure as shit ain't getting rid of Debo.
Although I don't think they want to pay Debo what he's going to be wanting. I mean, they don't. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, dude.
Either.
By all accounts, everything I read now, it has nothing to do with the money. Debo doesn't like being played in the backfield and ruining his career, or shortening his career, I should say. So, what amazes me, I want to know what Trey Sermon did to get in the doghouse so bad that he doesn't get any touches.
I like Trey Sermon, yeah.
I want to know what that guy did to Kyle. Did he bone his daughter?
I don't know if Shanahan's girls are that old, so we won't go there, but maybe he made fun of his wife. We'll go with that.
I didn't even realize Kyle Shanahan had daughters, so admit that. But something happened, dude, because Trey Sermon has talent. And you can't tell me that somebody who did what he did at Ohio State on the biggest of stages can't figure it out in the NFL. He's not the best, pass protector. I'm not going to try to claim any of that, but the dude can run the ball. So him and Mitchell in the backfield, I don't know why Debo's getting any touches back there when you need that on the outside. So I don't think they get rid of Debo. I think they just revamp the offense a little bit. We'll see. I mean, Kittle being hurt, that hurt him a lot. And he's got some injury issues.
And he's always hurt.
Yeah.
So, I could see 61, he's not going to last there, but if somehow McBride fell, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they grabbed him at 61.
They do have some needs in the secondary, though. That's tough. That's tough. They haven't really done much in free agency as well. So be really interesting to see what they do.
It will be. Now, I could, if they get a sweet offer like 2 firsts for Debo, I could see them doing that.
I don't think they're getting
that would be really hard to pass
2.
up. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if somebody doesn't blow them out of the water with a package like that, they're not going to move him.
They're going to get 4 picks for Debo, most likely. Tyreek Hill went for 5. They'll probably get 3 to 4 picks for Debo. And the bonus for the 49ers is they won't have to worry about paying Debo because they already have to pay Nick Bosa. That deal's coming up. So, which you get rid of Garoppolo's money, you have some extra money to play with. But
that's why I'm still amazed they didn't trade him as soon as they had an opportunity.
They were looking for more than a second-round pick.
That's stupid. You have the guy for 3 years. You traded a second to get him. You have something for 3 years, and then you can get the same thing back that you paid for it. Like, did they not take any financial classes in college? Like, that's called a win. That's called a big win.
John Lynch went to Stanford. I'm sure he took some financial classes.
Unbelievable, man.
4 49ers. Arizona Cardinals. Kyler. What a mess. That whole Kyler situation is just a mess.
Here's what I want to know. Did they go to Kyler and say, we're not paying you top tier money because you haven't shown top tier when the time needs it to be, but we'll pay you right now? And Kyler said no? Or are they just completely unwilling to pay him right now because they've got 2 more years on his deal?
I haven't heard any details in regard to what it is. It's just that Kyler says he's willing to just sit.
Sound like they were hoping to get another year because they still have 2.
Yeah, I know, but dude, I would be giving him I wouldn't hesitate to give Kyler like 25 to 28 a year right now, sign him for 5 more years and pay him.
There's no way Kyler takes that.
He should. He absolutely should, because if he fails again right now, he's never going to get big money.
I mean, Carr just got 43 a year, so he's trying to get 40 plus. He's not settling for no 28.
Yeah, but he's not worth that. His agent's going to ruin him if that's what he keeps thinking. Because here's the deal: he's not going to baseball. Here. Like, baseball is not available to him anymore because he's not going to go play AAA for 3 or 4 years, hoping to make it to the big leagues, and then maybe making a contract when he's 30, 31. No, that's done. You take the 25 to 28 now, you sign like a 5-year deal. He's like 24, 25, something like that.
No way.
That's what you should do.
No way. You can't ask him to do that. Again, they're all about their money, and they should be. Your career, no matter what position you play, can be really short. If guys like Derek Carr, who I think is actually a really good quarterback, but you have skills and things that you can do that make you a little bit more elite than him, you're not going to take less. You're not going to take $28 million versus $3 million.
We all know I'm a huge Kyler fan. He's not worth any more than that, and he needs to realize that. He's failed 3 years in a row, second half of the season. Failed. Derek Carr is a beast.
He's the next guy up, man. Unfortunately, I hate the way.
No, he's not. Lamar Jackson is.
Well, Lamar's not even negotiating right now.
Right.
So
Kyler's not worth more than 30 a year. Period.
You're not wrong. I think there are quarterback tiers of like, hey, you haven't done the things that that we need you to do to say that you should get X amount of money. Unfortunately, that's not how things have been working. The bar just keeps going up.
Derek Carr would have had an MVP in his pocket if he didn't get his neck broken.
That was his leg. He broke his leg.
I thought it was his back, his neck.
No, it was his leg.
No,
Against the Colts.
that doesn't sound right at all.
Yep. I remember. Because yes, you were correct. He was on an he was in the MVP conversation at the time. But Kyler, hopefully they get that all ironed out. They do have pick 23 and 55. And they need defense. They really do. Nothing. Cricket.
I was looking up the injury. What year was that?
Like 16.
2017, Derek Carr suffers back injury on awkward tackle. Yeah.
Back vertebrae fracture. Carr suffered a transverse progress.
So he still played with that. Go back.
Yeah, but that's what cost him the MVP year because he didn't play at that level after that injury.
Well, 17, Wentz was going to be the MVP, so it wasn't that year.
16, he broke his fibula.
That's the year. That's the year he was playing really well. They made the playoffs, and he didn't get to play in the playoff game because he broke his leg.
Yep.
Man, that dude's got some nasty luck.
Yeah.
Nasty luck. All right, no, Cardinals could use a wide receiver. Cardinals could use a running back. Cardinals can use offensive line. And they need some defense. They can really go any direction they want to, in my opinion.
Really good team last year for a team that needs a lot of everything.
Yeah, you're running with guys who DeAndre Hopkins can't stay on the field. AJ Green is a lot older. James Conner can't stay healthy. Kyler Murray can't stay healthy. You need more protection for him. It is a really good team, and their depth was their moneymaker, if you will, and they lost a lot of that depth in this offseason. Christian Kirk's gone. Chase Edmonds gone. They lost some defensive guys. Chandler Jones is gone. They could afford to go any direction, in my opinion. And not necessarily because it's a need, just because, they're not necessarily bad at any one position, but they're not necessarily great at any one position either right now.
That is true.
Oh.
Jaguars, baby. Jaguars. They have pick 1 and 33.
They're not going to go offensive line, and it's going to be ridiculous. I think Shad Khan is doing everything he possibly can to convince the NFL it's a good idea to let him move to London.
For sure.
And if the NFL is smart, they will never let that happen.
They already have one game a year every year in London.
An NFL team in London would be the worst mistake the NFL has made.
It's going to happen.
It's not. There's no way. There's no way. There's no logistical way it makes sense.
It'll happen one day.
So they play 8 of their games at home in a row, and then they come stateside and travel for 2 months?
I don't know the solution, but I know that that's what the NFL is wanting to do.
There's just no logistical way to make it happen. None. Zero. And until there's a logistical way, it'll never happen.
Making football like the World Cup would be crazy weird.
It's happening, man. Mexico. We're going to do games in Mexico. We're doing games in
Germany.
Europe.
Yeah, but Mexico will never get a team until the cartels leave.
They can't validate the cap.
I'm not even joking, dude. There is no way the NFL wants that media attention, because you know if there's a game down there once a week with the team calling Mexico City home, there's bound to be an interruption from the cartel at some point.
So we all know that the Jags need a little bit of everything. I think they did do quite a bit of work in free agency, but they paid, average players or overpaid average players.
Look, everybody's down on the Christian Kirk thing. I still think he can be the next Stefon Diggs. I think he's got that kind of talent.
I wouldn't go that far. Really good, yes, but 84 million good, probably not.
Dude, everybody said the Bills signing Stefon Diggs as a number 1 was a mistake. He was a number 2 in Minnesota, and that's what he was meant to be. That's what everybody was saying when that sign was when they signed him.
Didn't say that at all. I liked him. Oh, he just needed.
You didn't think he was going to be what he is?
He's pretty darn good. He was pretty good in Minnesota.
You and your revisionist history.
It's not revisionist history. I know what I said. I like Diggs. I've always liked Diggs.
Thielen was the man. Everybody said it. He was good because Thielen was the man. Nobody saw him come out gangbusters being a top 5 wide receiver. Don't sit here and tell me you said he was going to be a top 5 wide receiver.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what he is now. Christian Kirk has an opportunity to do some things, and he had a lot of really good stuff down there in Arizona. Murray just didn't give him the ball.
Yeah. I'm not high on him, and I wouldn't have paid him that much money, but that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it.
I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong when it comes to the money. He definitely got a little bit overpaid considering what he's already been able to do, but it could turn into a really team-friendly deal also.
Right tackle, edge, secondary, anywhere else is probably good too. They maybe not tight end. They got Evan Ingram. I don't know if that really helps.
Maybe not tight end. You mean the guy who's played 5 games out of his 5 NFL careers?
Those 5 games are really good though.
Yeah, he's fast.
Dude's super talented. That's the one that blows my mind is the money they paid him.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can rip through a couple of these. Colts, they don't pick till 42, and that's about it. They had traded quite a few of their picks this year with Wentz, and then trading for Ryan, and getting a couple back for Wentz.
Does anybody else feel like getting Matt Ryan and dropping Wentz was actually a slight downgrade?
I don't think it's a downgrade per se, because if you protect Matt Ryan, he can throw the football. I don't think Wentz was the issue. I think the issue is that they have a bunch of number 2 and number 3 receivers, and they don't have a number 1.
I don't think that's the problem either. I
do.
I don't. I just don't.
Pittman's not a number 1. He's not.
I'm not saying he's a number 1. I don't think that was really the game plan that they had going into Jacksonville was atrocious. How everybody has given Mark or Reich a pass is beyond me.
He did not get fired. He was probably it was probably not a good conversation at the end of the year with Jim Irsay.
But at least Wentz can move around a little bit. Ryan's a statue, and if you don't protect him perfectly, I don't see him having any better a year this year than Wentz did last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wentz took the blame for not making the playoffs. That's what happened.
And this is a team we had picked as a possible Super Bowl contender last year. And before the season started. So
for about 5 weeks they were.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about these guys right now. Their defense is solid. Really good defense. They could definitely add another piece there. Depending on what wide receivers are sitting there available, they could definitely go wide receiver. I just don't know, man. I really don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they can really do anything wrong per se, unless they decide to draft a quarterback.
They need a wide receiver and they need a corner are the 2 that I would pick out, because they traded Rock Ya-Sin.
I feel like at that place you can get a really good wide receiver. Just don't pick the wrong one. I feel like if you go corner back, secondary right there, I feel like they're going to be reaching. So you better reach properly.
Tough to say. Who knows with those guys? The Houston Texans.
Did you put all the bad teams together, Pinky?
No, that's just the AFC South, my man.
That's just so brutal. It's like every team. I don't know what they're going to do. It's not going to be a good year for them.
If Houston doesn't go offensive line with their first pick, I'll be blown away.
Yeah.
That's arguably the worst offensive line in football right now. And I think Davis Mills is the real thing if they can protect him.
He had a good rookie year. I don't know if he's the real deal, but he had a good rookie year.
Talent-wise, dude, he was the number 1 recruit coming out of his class before he had a couple really bad knee injuries at Stanford. So if he didn't have those knee injuries, he would have been the first overall last year probably. He's that talented. So if he can stay healthy, they've got a quarterback of the future. It's just, are they going to put pieces around him to allow him to succeed?
Well, they have 3, 13, and 37. So they've got some good options to actually make some good moves here.
I mean, their defense needs a lot of help too. This is just a team that really does need everything as well. So
I mean, their best 2 players are Tunsil and Brandon Cooks.
God, that Tunsil deal is still so bad. Oh my God. Dan O'Brien could coach, but that dude has no idea when it comes to picking players to put on his team.
That was some horrible.
Or what value players should hold. That's what's sad, dude, is that guy was a good coach. A good coach. Like where he had Houston, he had KC beat. Team made a couple mistakes. He made a couple mistakes as a coach, and I mean, went downhill real quick from there. But as far as coaching goes, I'm surprised that dude doesn't have another head coaching job. You just don't give him control of the GM duties.
He's probably close to getting another run. Or did he go back to New England?
I thought he did. But then wouldn't he be the offensive coordinator? Like,
Andy, look it up.
There's no way he's back in New England. They would have named him offensive coordinator.
I know he was down in Alabama. I think
he's still the OC at no. I think, is he the OC at Bama still?
He is. It says currently the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Bama.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He's probably close to that next chance, I think.
I mean, seriously, if I wouldn't be mad if the Broncos had hired him as the head coach. You just make sure you have a good GM. Don't let him anywhere near that room.
Do not let him pick out the groceries.
Definitely not.
Houston could be in play. They're going to get a top 5 pick again next year. I'm pretty sure. They're still going to be bad. Lovie Smith, decent coach, but there's not a whole lot to work with.
Lovie's not a decent coach. I think it's going to be proven that they should have kept David Culley. That team played for David Culley.
He did a good job with them.
They did. They overachieved.
That's probably why he got fired.
Tennessee Titans.
Dude, get some O-line help.
Yeah.
Their O-line's starting to get old. It is time to get some more beef up there. They've got pick 26.
They could go wide receiver too. I don't care what anybody says. I watched that game, and every time I go back and watch the replays, those wide receivers did Tannehill no service. That first pick he threw with the first pass of the game, Julio Jones didn't even try to come back for the ball. He ran a hook and just stopped hooking.
Julio's done, I think.
They
did get Robert Woods.
Coming off a torn ACL, so
he should. Yeah, but he tore it midway through, so he should be back relatively early.
They got AJ Brown, but I'm just saying, anybody calling for Tannehill's job last year is dumb.
That agent has AJ,
Debo, and McLaren. That's why they're all asking for new deals at the same time.
They're all asking for money.
That agent's going to ruin somebody's career.
Well, he's seen it, man. If you've already had 3 good years and you're on that first time that you can get paid, guys are not waiting anymore. They're like, you pay us now, because they don't want to do that 4th year and get hurt or suck, and then that 5th year option doesn't get picked up, or if it does get picked up, they don't get a new contract at that point. So
if I'm a team going forward, you know what I'm honestly saying to those guys? Hey, we're willing to change the market. We're willing to give you a fully guaranteed contract, but we're not doing it until your first deal's up. We're not paying for something that we don't have to pay for. But you come back after that 4th year, we'll give you fully guaranteed money. And I think the NFL is about to start heading that way.
There's going to be quite a few more guaranteed deals out there, I'm sure. For Tennessee, man, I'm just on the O-line. That's kind of where I'm at. Just like pick an O-lineman, plug them in, and keep running the football.
They could go D too. That defense was not that great at times.
It was pretty good towards the end of the year.
It came around. It came around, but they could, they pick what is it, 26? So I mean,
26.
I think the best offensive or defensive lineman available at that time, if there's still a top dog sitting there, I think they could go either way and be fine.
All right, New England.
They need an offensive coordinator. Can you draft those?
I mean, they have picked 21 and 54. I don't even know if we need to talk about this much because who knows what they're going to do.
I still think Josh McDaniels comes back. He's going to totally screw the Raiders.
Bill Belichick's going to trade out of that pick. You know he is. And Olave will probably be sitting there and he'll be like, nah, you know what? Let's trade back.
I could see him picking one of the linebackers if they're sitting there, one of the good linebackers, but like Devin Lloyd, if Devin Lloyd were to make it to 21, I could see them doing that. But
I hope he realizes this isn't the same league he drafted Tom Brady into, and Mac Jones cannot have an outstanding career if he doesn't give him any weapons.
I think he's comfortable with not giving him weapons, man.
Man.
Do you imagine trying to tell Bill Belichick he's wrong? Bill, you don't know what you're doing. He's like, really? Really?
I know, right? Seriously. It's kind of hard to have that conversation. But, I mean, dude, they spent the most in free agency last year, and what did it get them?
Yeah.
I mean, they were at one point the number one seed, and then they trailed off a little bit. They did make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. I mean, the guy's a great coach.
And then they got exposed. They got exposed because they didn't have anybody who could do anything.
If you can clamp down on the weapons, there's nobody that could beat coverage. Or
you can single cover every single wide receiver without any worries. Like, how do you expect that to do you anything?
Yeah, they got mopped up by Buffalo. It was nasty.
And I actually think Jacoby Myers is a great wide receiver. He would be a great number 2 on any team in the league. But if you don't have somebody to take pressure off of him, Kendrick Bourne's going to do something for you? N'Keal Harry's going to scare you a little bit? Like, oh, I'm sorry, they have Hunter Henry. He's really good. Like, no.
Miami Dolphins, after the Tyreek Hill trade, their first pick is 102.
I think they're going to be fine. I think they can go defense there and work around that side of the ball. I think you're going to be eating a little bit of crow this year with Tua, I think.
I mean, I would hope so with everything he's got now.
No, it's not even what he's got, dude. He could have had the same weapons from last year to this year. It's that he has an offensive-minded head coach who actually is willing to work with him.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Flores did everything he could to not have to play Tua and let him improve. And Flores can say whatever he wants, but, dude, what you put on tape says a lot more than what you say in a press conference. And what he put on tape was that, I don't want to play this guy, and if I do, I don't want to do anything that helps him look good.
Yeah. That even came out in the interviews when the Dolphins came back against them when he attacked them. The Dolphins came out and leaked emails of his where he quote unquote stated that he was on purposely holding back Tua. He never wanted Tua. This was not the way he did it.
He wanted Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him for that.
Yeah. Hindsight.
But did you hear what Tua said the other day in his press conference? They asked him. Basically, from what I remember, it was basically like, how was your relationship with Brian Flores? And he's just like, we got a lot of great guys here now. I really like my head coach. He's a guy that I can actually go to and talk. So I'm excited about this year. Like, didn't even answer the question. Just try to avoid. That says all you need to know about that relationship.
There was no relationship.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's bad. Yeah.
But good luck to Tua. It should be a good year. New York Jets. So pretty easy one here. They've got 4, 10, and 35. Pretty much need everything.
Yeah. Best talent on the board.
How do you not have O-line on here for them?
They put a lot of money. Now, again, I don't think they're good at the O-line, but they did invest a lot of money last year in the O-line.
The rookie they smashed up is good last year. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Who?
The rookie O-lineman they drafted last year.
Yeah, I liked him.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I can't remember his name.
The guy from 2 years ago was Mekhi Becton.
It's not Becton he's thinking of. I'll look it up.
Okay.
But they have a giant need at wide receiver.
Yes, they do.
Pass rusher, secondary. Like, you need some impact players at those positions.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
They pick an O-lineman, no problem there either. I like, we like the big ugly.
4 and 10, I would go O-line and wide receiver. I mean, If there's one thing the NFL has taught us over the last 10 years is if you have a rookie quarterback who you expect to do big things, you better protect him and you better give him weapons. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to know.
Only a small percentage of quarterbacks improve everyone around them when they're young.
I mean, let's be honest. They didn't do any of those things for Sam Darnold. And then they blamed it all on Sam Darnold for some reason. Like
shitty play calling, shitty weapons.
So for them to make that mistake twice, it would show you that maybe Adam Gase isn't as bad as we thought he was. And it's really just the ownership saying, you don't going to do anything except for what we want. That's what that would tell me. Now, I don't believe that right now, but if it happened again, I would start believing it.
I think the Jets GM is pretty good, Joe Douglas. I think he's going to end up being pretty good.
I think Saleh's a really good coach, but if the owner's constantly telling you who to pick, i.e. Jerry Jones, you're going to be mediocre at best for a very long time.
What do you got, Andy?
All right. It was the second round. I'll probably say the first name wrong. Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yes.
Oh,
Out of
yes.
USC.
Yep.
Yes.
They actually had a good draft. I was looking at Zach Wilson, Vera Tucker. Then they went Elijah Moore. And then they had Michael Carter. And then they got the guy I like, Hamza Nesleddine, the safety. I liked him a lot.
Elijah Moore was kind of hurt last year, so he didn't get to show a whole lot as much as they would hope. But when he did show, they really liked. But again, you need another weapon opposite him to be able to do anything. So we'll see. Running back. Wait, can I say it again? Running back.
Yeah, they need a running back. I think they'll grab one. They have 25 and 57. I think they'll grab one at 57.
Then they're screwed. They may as well keep Singletary and Moss and not draft one, because at 57, you're going to miss out. I'll guarantee you're going to miss out on Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And if you're not snatching one of those two dudes, I don't think you're getting the impact type of player. You could get somebody really good still, maybe like Isaiah Spiller or somebody like that, but I think you're in the same boat as you were before.
I think Spiller's on the same as Singletary, really. So
exactly, you're just going to get other guys like Moss and Singletary, but you get someone like you said, elite. Yeah, 25, they have to go running back.
And again, if I'm the Bills, I'm calling Jacksonville. I'm calling Carolina and saying we'll give you 25 for Christian.
If they got CMC, wow.
I mean, seriously, if you're the Bills, why would you not do that?
Let's go to the AFC champ, Cincinnati Bengals.
Offensive line.
I mean, they did pay 3 guys in free agency.
No, they need to go defense for sure. And
their defense was pretty good.
I would go D-line. If I was the Bengals, I would look at the top defensive lineman on the board. If you think he can be really good, I would go do that and just try to basically mirror what the team you lost to in the Super Bowl has done. Stack that defensive line, be able to put pressure on the opposing quarterback. Your offense is stacked. You don't need to do anything on that offense, especially with the way they put money into the offensive line in free agency. Or you could go top secondary. Their secondary definitely got burned at times and cost them last year.
Well, you're going to play Buffalo and you're going to play the Chiefs or the Raiders or the Broncos or insert AFC team with weapons here. You need some corners.
See, and everybody's like, you need corners, but to me, you can kind of secondhand thrift store a corner if you need to, if your front seven is getting pressure on the quarterback all the time. It's kind of a trade-off. If you don't have a great front seven, you better have a good secondary. If you don't have a great secondary, you better have a good front seven. So you can mix and match.
But if you have both,
and they do have a great D end. Dude's a beast. Yeah. Hendrickson's a beast. So you could go secondary.
One of the top tackles.
DJ Reader on the inside is really good too. So they could use another D tackle, but yeah, they've got 31 and 63. Corner and a D lineman, perfect. Let's roll.
Either or. I either one's good.
Bengals are fun to watch. So it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. Pittsburgh Steelers.
I
pick 20, and I don't think they don't have a second rounder.
If Malik Willis falls, they're grabbing Malik Willis. It just feels like that's what Tomlin wants to do.
I don't know if they can wait then. If he's if
I'm
he
saying he'd
wants
have to
to go
fall.
get him.
I don't think they have to have him. I think if he's available, they would snatch him up in a heartbeat. Like they wouldn't even wait for the clock to hit. They would run that card up there. But if they stay at 20 and he's not there, they better go the best offensive lineman on the board.
Because they need it so bad.
I mean, the
They need
defense is
O-lineman
elite,
bad.
right? The defense is
imagine
elite. They've
how
got
much-
weapons on the outside, and they got Najee Harris. Fryermuth turned out to be a great tight end.
Yeah.
So that's really the only weak spot in their game right now.
If they could trade out at 20, if Willis isn't there and they can trade out at 20 and get a couple extra picks to help beef up the O-line, that's what they should do.
That would be really smart. I could see that.
Baltimore.
They need some D-line help.
So there's two guys that I just see that just they seem like Ravens, and that's Jermaine Johnson and Trevor Penning. Like either one of those dudes just
God, if
seems
they
like a
snatch
Raven.
Trevor Penning, the fact that they didn't make the playoffs and they get a pick at 14 is just scary. Like that's just scary because the amount of talent they have coming back that should be healthy next year is ridiculous.
And it was just that middle of the season when Lamar was hurt and they were playing Huntley, and Huntley played well. They didn't get
Huntley
wins.
played really good. So how they didn't get some of those wins was really crazy. But they were thin on defense. Their running game was lacking big time.
All the injuries. Yeah,
Jeez. But think about it. You got
Top three
Dobbins and
runners.
Edwards coming back. You could have the best 1-2 punch in running backs in the NFL next year, possibly.
Penning would be super sexy right here.
That'd be insane.
Then Owe with Owe on one side and Jermaine Johnson on the other, that would just be so good. So good. I'm high on the Ravens for next season. I think they're going to surprise some people. That AFC North is not just the Bengals.
Oh, absolutely not. If the Steelers find a way to shore up their O-line in the draft, that division could be just as dangerous as the AFC West.
Dog pound. They don't draft till 44.
They're
Because
so
it's
screwed
not.
if Watson gets suspended.
Yeah.
Dude, they are so screwed.
No
Or
way,
if he
man.
has
They've got
another
Jacoby Brissett.
incident.
They're good.
Oh my God. I can't believe they gave up that much for Watson.
Yeah.
Houston was thrilled. Houston's like, wait, are you serious? Done.
3 1s? Yeah, man.
Plus all the other picks. Wasn't it 7 total picks? A 2, a couple 3s, a 4, and a 5.
Yeah, ended up being quite a bit.
Ah, dude, Houston can rebuild their entire team with that trade alone. That's going to turn out to be like a Herschel Walker deal, dude.
Oh man. If Deshaun gets in trouble again,
I mean,
I just don't know how you trade for somebody that still has that many court cases pending.
oh
Like,
my
that's-
gosh,
well,
dude.
and the only reason why he chose to go to Cleveland is because they literally ponied up 230 guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the only reason he chose. He was on his way to Atlanta, dude. He was probably landing in Atlanta and turned on his phone and he's like, "Oh, can I get a ticket to Cleveland now, please?"
I'm so glad he didn't go to the Falcons.
Golly,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they need a little bit. They do need some help. O-line, D-line, wide receiver. They really need wide receiver. Even though they got Cooper, they could use another
I don't
wide
think they
receiver.
do. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to surprise some people if Watson plays. If Watson plays, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is going to blow up this year. Honestly,
He's
Maybe.
good.
Maybe.
we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But
All right, guys. Our favorite division.
I mean, offensive line. They took care of their defense.
I mean, I usually see 3 dudes. I've been seeing 3 dudes mocked here. Penning, Jordan Davis, and Traylon Burks.
Hopefully none of those guys.
That'd be absurd if any of those dudes went to the Chargers.
Oh my god, that'd be horrible. Because we'd have to root against those guys, and I like all of them.
Oh, that would be so nasty.
The
dude.
biggest one is I don't want them to get Jordan Davis.
Yeah, God, Davis would look good.
What Penning would like
Penning would be
they
nasty.
need that
But
good.
Penning is a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker right now. So, I mean, again, I at least know that we could at least still rush the passer, but
really
he's a
though,
great run
because
blocker.
like Justin Herbert has proven he doesn't even need an offensive line to be really good. So if you give him a halfway decent offensive lineman, like
he's gonna take steps.
Yeah, like come on.
I still think they need a third wide receiver to go with Mike Williams, who's hurt or not hurt, and Keenan Allen.
I don't know. He took a big step last year. Now Keenan Allen's getting up there.
Mike Williams did play most of the games, but there are multiple games he was like non-existent.
But that wasn't him. That was the offense. So, I mean, I don't completely disagree with you, but they get one of those three dudes. God damn.
They've got 17. They don't have a second or a third because of the Khalil Mack trade.
Oh, man. So they really have to land on this first pick. Yeah, O-line then. They have to.
But their defense got Joshua Jackson, Khalil Mack, and then they picked up one other guy as well.
And Derwin James is coming back healthy. Like, are you kidding me?
Hopefully James is healthy. James is fun to watch when he's healthy.
Their other safety, Adderley's good. They got the corner situated, the D-line situated. Yeah.
The cheat codes, man. Like, the Chargers could be a cheat code this year.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. So of teams in the top, you guys have the most picks in the top 65.
You need to keep every single one of them.
20,
oh, you go pour yourself a glass, good sir.
Exactly. I know
29,
we're going to be there.
29, 30, 50, and 62.
Yeah. So I heard we're trading up for Malik Willis. So I was like, not straight, but like it is. That's the kind of stuff we do, man. We're gonna take the first blind quarterback just to say we're the Chiefs, and it's gonna break my heart.
You gone back and looked at any of that Tolbert film yet?
No, the Tolbert haven't. I watched a lot of Dave Bell, so I was watching him. He would be phenomenal in Chiefs because a route runner at his level would be just insane. The way he gets in and out of cuts was just wow. I mean, he literally is just amazingly fluid. You're watching him just weave. And it looks like almost like, Lynn Swan moves so easily. Like it's always just graceful. He moves at that same level. We haven't had that.
Andy, I'm telling you right now, you guys got David Bell and Tolbert. Like, I don't think you guys, I think that would be setting you up for a very long time.
Yeah. And for Chiefs, we were very lucky. I mean, the O-line got shored up. If we could even run the ball somewhat,
you'll be fine. You got Ronald Jones now. Seriously, I think Ronald Jones is going to be a 1,000-yard rusher for you.
And we've never had a power back.
If you give him the ball enough to do it.
Yeah, Andy Reid, I hope so, dude. Andy Reid's broke my heart. It'll be 3rd and 1. It'll be Ronald Jones is fresh. He's ready to go. And he'll be like, all right, let's have Mahomes do a triple reverse. And I'm just like, So,
I think Andy Reid realizes he needs to run the ball a little more to let Mahomes be more effective. I think that's why they brought in Jones. I think when they found out that they could get him, I think they were stoked. I think Ronald Jones is going to be a top 5 back this year. I could see him being an easy top 5 back this year.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is amazingly talented. If we start using him right,
CH is done. Put a fork in him. He's done.
A bust. He's a bust for where you drafted him.
For where we drafted, I still love him. I mean, dude, he's got the talent. It's just, I don't think that's my scariest thing with him is if we'll use him. I mean, the Chiefs, every time we get a guy, we're always like, oh, he doesn't know the playbook. And we just have him sit and wait. I've heard that.
I don't think he knows the playbook, Andy. I mean, if you go back and watch his LSU film, seriously, you go back and watch his LSU film, all I see is a guy who took advantage of arguably the best passing offense in college football history.
Caleb, what are you sipping on?
Little Maker's Mark.
Oh, yeah. Pinky's face. Did your nose turn up, Pinky? What's happened?
Yeah,
what is going
on? I did try.
Pinky's not a whiskey man.
I had some Knob Creek maple.
Oh, Jesus, it's always got to be something sugared down with you.
Flavor.
No, that's what they had at the poker game. I tried it. I did not like it, and then I drank Elijah Craig, and that was much better. So, back to the Chiefs. I mean, I think they need a wide receiver because I don't like Juju or MVS. And I do think they need a defensive lineman as well.
Building in the trenches, like Caleb talked about, if the Chiefs would build in the trenches now with the picks we have, it would be insane what we could do.
Absolutely.
It'd be wild. I mean, that's the thing that gets me so scared about this. So this is the first time we're ever going to a draft live for me. I've never been there. This is so amazing. And all I keep thinking is, what would have happened if when the Chiefs had the first pick overall? And I'm like, oh my God, Pinky, we have to go. It would have broke my heart to sit there and be like, Eric Fisher? I would have lost my shit. So that's why I'm so scared this year. But if we just keep the picks and we draft just the best we can, there's going to be so many things that would change. I mean, dude, how long has it been since the Chiefs had a good defense that you had to worry about? I mean, we haven't. And again, to be able to rely on the defense regularly, I mean, it's insane. So, I mean, we need a right tackle if we're going to shore up the O-line because the guys we have playing keep getting hurt. I mean, there's
you
just
need some corners.
We need corners. We have no corners. Safety wise is very unknown. Justin Reed is interesting. Like we talked about, he hits very hard, but there's a lot of illegal hits when you watch his highlights.
He's not a playmaker though.
He's a thumper. He destroys people. But a lot of those hits, like I talked about, you're watching him just demolish receivers. But a lot of them are helmet to helmet. Like, I mean, it's and then Juwan Thornhill. Yeah, he's awesome. He ran a 4.3 40. He is lightning fast. He's a playmaker. But he's not consistent. He's all over the field. And our corners are nothing all the way down the line. There's not, I mean, I like Sneed. I'll give him a lot of props. But again, when you're playing the Chiefs, there's only one corner not to throw at. You don't throw at Sneed.
The Chiefs have the worst defense in the AFC West.
Yes.
And if they don't do something to shore it up a little bit,
I still think the Raiders have the worst defense in the AFC West.
Max Crosby makes them better. Not just playing,
but that's their only two players. Like everybody else is, the Chiefs are actually a better defense than the Raiders.
I disagree.
I'm curious. Like I love Chris Jones. I'd say if you did like Chris Jones nullifies Max Crosby. But after Chris Jones, I mean, I love Nick Bolton. Last year, he played very well for us. Willie Gay came out of nowhere and played well for us. But well for the Chiefs is different than every other team because both those linebackers would have got cut from the Broncos. But the Chiefs, they start. So and I'm hoping Nick Bolton stays and takes a step forward because we need it. Willie Gay, again, he's a middle linebacker that runs a 4.33. That's phenomenal. But that's not translating.
He can't diagnose a play.
Yeah.
All right, Pinky, flip that screen.
Yeah.
Move it along. Sorry, Andy.
No,
you're gonna have to wallow in sorrow this week. I have a feeling, and I feel bad for you, buddy.
Jinx it, Caleb. Jinx it. Say all the bad things you can. Keep going like this. God, if we make a smart choice, it almost makes me feel weird to be a Chiefs fan. I'm so not used to us doing it. I mean, if we get like that's the funny thing. So all the time I spend looking at draft players. We haven't drafted a player I liked in the last 5 years.
Andy's high on everyone, and they don't draft anybody he likes.
Any of them, yeah. God, Treylon Burks with the Chiefs. Oh, I'd be so happy. But yeah, Raiders.
I think Vegas is pretty easy. I don't think they can go wrong with whoever they pick where they're sitting. You get an impact player, regardless of need.
So they don't pick till round 3 because of the Devontae Adams trade.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, best available talent.
So defensive line, offensive line, they really need some secondary help.
I would look on the defensive side of the ball for sure, unless an O lineman pops at that point. But
all I know is I've always liked Derek Carr. I still think when he's not protected, he does fold like a chair. But when you protect him, and now that he's got weapons, they're going to be pretty nasty this year. They're going to be fun to watch.
I just don't think you give Derek Carr enough credit, man. That dude has carried a
subpar team for
a very long time. Yeah, but you're talking about if you don't protect Pinky, we've been over this. Any quarterback in the NFL that doesn't get protection is going to fold like a chair. Exactly. All of them. That dude played with a broken neck. We just talked about that. He's had little to no weapons almost his entire career. Like the lack of respect for Derek Carr has always baffled me. And I think this year he is going to show a lot of people exactly why they were wrong.
If he doesn't do it with Devontae Adams, they're still going back.
I mean, we've talked about it. Devontae Adams opens up Renfro. It opens up Waller. It opens up the run game with Jacobs. Like that offense is going to be nasty.
It's going to be really nasty.
Yeah.
And I've heard all these people say, well, Derek Carr and Devontae Adams are going to have to find chemistry, and it's never good year one. These are best friends who played college football together. That doesn't go away. It's just a little rusty, and that rust will be off by preseason. So they'll be ready to fly.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs in fantasy going to be good.
If he can stay healthy. He's had some injury issues, but if he can stay on the field, he's going to be a top 5 running back probably.
At value too. So I'm high on the Raiders. Excited. We're going to go check out the stadium Thursday.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Get to have a drink in the Al Davis Memorial, wherever that is in the stadium. So where they light the torch or whatever.
All right, Pinky, let's give it to us. What do you want to see the Broncos do?
Number 32. I mean, I'd pick a right tackle myself if you can get one at 64, but I'm just so tired of having 1-year contracts or revolving doors at right tackle. I'd like a guy that Bobby Massey actually played pretty well last year, but his contract expired and they didn't re-sign him, and they re-signed Billy Turner and some other guy to challenge. I'd like to have a long-term solution.
Here's the biggest thing that they need to be aware of, and this will say a lot about what Patton's doing. They cannot reach here. If there's an offensive lineman that's a reach at that point, you better just let him go, and you better go on that linebacker, because there's going to be a linebacker available at that spot, a quality linebacker.
I love Chad Muma from Wyoming.
Muma's cool.
And he's good in coverage, and we need a guy that can do that.
You know what I would actually like to see him do here, and you're going to call me a homer for this, but I think he's going to be a sneaky great pick for somebody. Take Cam Jurgens here. Let him play center and move somebody over.
So I don't know if he'll be at 64. The word is that most teams have him ranked above Lindenbaum.
Really? He's moving up now.
Most teams have him rated as the number 1 center from what has been said out there.
Interesting. I have yet to hear that. So, okay.
If Jurgens is there, and I do think they want to get better at center, I don't think Cushenberry has done what he needs to do to keep.
But you can move Cushenberry to guard.
But I wouldn't move him over Glasgow, Miners, or Mute. So
I might.
I wouldn't.
I might.
Cushenberry has no strength. That's the problem. He gets mauled by the guys with strength. You don't want that at guard.
You got to remember the play calls that he was trying to deal with didn't exactly put him in the best light.
Which again is why he's going to be competing. So I also think they'll probably trade out of 64 is my thought and pick up a couple extra. They have 9 picks in this draft, but I think they're going to try to trade out of 64 and get a pick for next year because they don't have a first or a second next year.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. I mean, let's be honest. Anybody who watched the Broncos knew they were a quarterback away from being a contender, and they got their quarterback. So they're good for a couple years. They can just add some young talent. They could even take some dudes who are crazy talented but haven't developed yet and see if they can develop them. They can take a couple risks the next 2 years.
I know Andy will like this. You know who they had in for a visit this last week, Andy?
Know who they bring?
James Cook.
Oh, man. That would be insane.
I don't like it.
Broncos do draft the players I like and take people from Kentucky.
They're going to draft a running back. That's going to happen. But
I would rather see him bring back Melvin Gordon if he's willing to have a decent contract.
If they don't get the guy they want, I think they would bring Gordon back.
Yeah,
but I think they have a specific target in mind.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Cook would be a great combination with Javonte Williams. Completely different skill set running back.
So, and that's why I like a guy like that because Javonte is going to be that
just a bowling ball.
Him and Boone, good one too.
Javonte just feels like a 3-down back to me. He just feels like he can be a 3-down back in the NFL. So bringing in a guy like James Cook, I feel like you're just wasting.
I just don't know how much teams want to do that though. I think I agree.
That's why Melvin Gordon's so good to bring back because you can let Javonte be the 3-down back and then give him some spells with another guy who can be a bruiser. If you bring in somebody like Cook, Cook's not necessarily a bruiser.
No, not at all.
He can run between the tackles kind of, but he's more of an outside guy. So
Correct.
then that starts changing your play calling, and that's when teams get screwed, is when they start changing their play calling to fit the personnel on the field.
Yeah, I definitely, I know they're going to grab a running back. It's just when. I don't mind bringing Gordon back, but I think he still wants more money than they're willing to give, has been the problem.
Yeah, well, nobody else is going to pay him. So what kind of situation does he be in? And that's what it's going to come down to. And with Russ being there now, it puts him in a really good situation.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I'm so excited we have 9 picks after the Russell Wilson trade. We still have 9 picks in this draft. So, and most of them are on day 4 when I'll be there. So it's good. Day 3.
So we'll see what happens. Going back here in the chat real quick here, I saw Gustavo Moda asked about Murray. Gustavo, we did talk about Murray earlier, and we're a little bit differing here. I feel like Murray hasn't played well enough to get the big money contract. I think the Cards would be more than willing to cut him a deal right now at a 28 to 30 million price range. Murray wants the big money, and he hasn't played well enough to get it. So I think they're completely at odds. And the Cardinals are willing to, they've got 2 more years on his rookie deal, and then they can go franchise 2 more years after that. So Cards are all in the Cardinals' hands right now, no pun intended. And I think Murray's, if he sits out, I think it hurts him way more than it hurts the Cardinals.
Murray's not taking anything less than 40.
And he's never going to get it. Not the way he's been playing right now. And if he continues to play this way, unless he can have a full season, he's never going to get that money. Somebody will pay him that money when he leaves the Cardinals, and they'll regret it. And I'm a huge Murray fan. Ask Pinky. I am a huge Murray fan.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't played well enough to get that money right now.
And I agree with that. I just know where quarterback contracts are. He's going to get paid. Because
Tannehill's played better than Murray, and Tannehill's making like $20 million a year, $22 million a year, something like that. So, see what happens.
All right, boys. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. We'll be back on Tuesday at 6:45 for our second annual mock draft.
6:45 Mountain Time for anybody that wants to tune in.
Tune in. Tell us who you think we should pick. What's going on? Chat with us. We're all for it. Any last words?
Yeah, everybody go pour yourself a little drink. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll say it every time. I always say it. Take that quality time with your loved ones and enjoy it. And I'm out, ladies and gentlemen.